Hello,
Hello,
what's your name?
my name's Jason.
And what's that you're holding?
It's my father's journal about the Vietnamese War. It was the end of the Second Great World War. We thought that after the horrendous disaster that was the Second Great War, we would finally achieve peace. We were wrong. Trying to prove one another that their ways were wrong, the great superpowers that were the USSR and the USA competed in everything. We're talking not only of science, technology, and space exploration, but also of weapons and land. This non-stop competition between communism and democracy got out of hand shortly after. This was then known as the Cold War.
This is a different kind of war. There are no marching armies or solemn declarations. Some citizens of South Vietnam, at times with understandable grievances, have joined in the attack on their own government. But we must not let this mask the sinful fact that this is really war. It is guided by North Vietnam and it is spurred by Communist China. Its goal is to conquer the South, to defeat American power, and to extend the Asiatic dominion of communism.
During the Cold War, there were many internal revolutions going on. The first sign of this came when Korea had a revolution of its own. The South, allied by the US, believed in democratic rule, while the Northern Koreans wanted communism. USA and the USSR intervened in various nations after that, wanting to spread their own ways of governing a country. This is where my story begins. It was the year 1954. I had recently joined the Special Forces when I was sent to Vietnam. Turns out the US Army, my army, had decided to intervene in Vietnam, a former French colony, because of its war. During our debriefing, the colonel had explained that we were going to intervene since the northern communist Vietnamese were in a conflict against the southern democratic part of Vietnam. Since both the USSR and the Viet Cong were aiding the North, we decided to lend the South a hand. The moment we arrived, we realized how troublesome the situation was. We were no longer in the United States. We were in unknown land that was as far from peace as one could possibly be. This was when we understood why our people were against us fighting their war. It was a long, costly conflict that would persist and after a long, hard fight, get us absolutely nowhere. At home, this war was growing increasingly unpopular and would be portrayed by the media as a waste of time, money, resources, and American lives. Our entire fleet was homesick. Our families wanted us to back, and the Vietnamese wanted us gone.
Television time tonight for the purpose of announcing that we today have concluded an agreement to end the war and bring peace with honor in Vietnam and in Southeast Asia.
The war ended with the withdrawal of the U.S. forces in 1973 and the unification of Vietnam under communist control 2 years later. More than 3 million people were killed, including 58,000 American lives.